Kluibi baro ki perlu ki berjumpa ya kani ka program Straight Talk but ha kani ka klimat kedai ngedon hang ni but kini ki panelist ha ka bai day banyakran halor ki katu kani kimat lese kuma pijutip ya kani ka show kani ka program kedai ka ba ngijuan ra shapi banyakran halor kimat ke bakta ya ki emlang salang ban haju ka poru ban yo ban yathir ban yakran ru na benta ki babun ki ke ka bai day ki emlang salang ban wan ra ye ki sembo jeng perkhat ha ka bai day bat ki ka sensyar khadar ka riti sensyar bat ki we ti ha kani ka klimat ha kani ka janmit ya ke bengin wara shpi kata kalong ha ka bai day ba kani ka state job reservation policy ka Lynti Shakhmat lani the way forward ha ka bai day ba reservation policy kumangan syukudau hani khndiat hagini khniat banai ki baladap ka Voice of the People Party ka balong ka political party hangni hapo ka jala ka jongi ka bala lam khmat ya kani ka junge khi ban dawa ban review lani ban petho ban bishar biang ya kani reservation policy ka bala don hak jala nadu usnam khak nais pa nyu puar ter but da kani ka jing dawa ka sarkar hadin bakala wan ka VPP kala mi khmat VPP ban wan ra ya kani ka jing dawa ka sarkar kala jam Shakhmat ban thau ya kani ka committee bakhnang ban yo ban penbej lani ban pej perman biang ya kani ka reservation policy te ngidon hangni ka janmit ya kini ki panelist ki kraw perkhat ki badon ki bala yasno khtilang bangi hagani ka studio hagani ka sngi mar kata kalong iba war chalam ibalong retired associate professor ngatrai bun apdeng jongi kimde imlongshu ibedang thmai ha kani studio khulishibun ba warchalam damta ka por ka jongpi hakajo ka por ngi don ru ya spokesperson jong ka Voice of the People Party kumbangla jerne ka wadi ka weni political party ka bala lam khmat ka bay day bandong ban yakhi nabata ban review ya kani ka reservation policy ba kata kalong nidon ya spokesperson ibalong iba abats kem merbo ibadai ru spokesperson hajo kapor ibadai ru nohikai nang te na po Synod College ti hakani ka janmit ngin sa don ru ngin sa snokti lang ru iba Miralbon ibadai iba Miralbon sim ibadai Emily jong kanong po constituency hakani ka studio jongi bengin yo ban ya thir ban ya ai jingmut lang hak bai day bat kani kamat hakani ka janmit bakata kalong ka reservation policy ka Lynti Shakhmat shopping niya Shakhmat hakani ka benta ang suka ban bu khniat hak hapdeng jongpi ba salam la kata ngi layo i kijing ya keren kijing ya tai but kumjuru kijing haki ki khubor la patai khubor bai ya dei bat kani reservation policy iba salam lui la banong ba pidei we ni bala sedang lese ban ya ai kijing tho haki la patai khubor haki khnat snem ki bala dap hatu phi tharai ba bai dei ba reservation policy hatu ki pat ba nong jong kani gejela khamtam lele habai keren bat ki khna samla pule kaba kadei kalawai ka bangi suthu kan kata kalawai jongki hatu kala biang mo ko jing batai lani ka jing pinsai habai de reservation policy
kumlech bon ba Ferdinand mo haga jing yidai bat ka ne ka program nangkat bat iba spokesperson jong ka VPP hakajeng yedai bat kane ka isu ka bakta komba piong bakta ya ka jai penriu nga ya hap jengbot ya kata namar ba kala ya san pa wais nem hado ne benai julai wan kat artarik te kat kumbong ipat ya kane kadan hang ne mo ngi kumba hapopat bahaya kane iba kalong incomplete dan raya bro sekata ngem kan ma pan pet ya ka namar ngi pediang bat ya kato ko 40 dan ray kat banang ya kisnem na iba kadon ka jingma namar ka jengbon briu jong ka kasih jantia kanang bon kat kum ka jing skau tho jongi ba ya ka ris ka bha kidai ban bha kat kum ka jingbon kajat penriu ya kata amla ban len te ha ka jing dai bat kan ni nga kum o nong song snong o badan kata ka jengkit kle na ka banta kalaway jong ki samla nga supasat ha ki newspaper ha ki English bat kasi ha ka jing dai bat ban pen sngew sha ulok ulak na ka banta ban pen pet thamai no ya ka ni ka reservation policy ngala tho kala yo ki comments ki babon hanrai hadin bala tho house name arajar ar phawai te kapau biang haujo house name te haujo house name nga tho lai tali mo kumban kan siu ya ka jai ben riu bat ya kenong yalam hanrai I kumba kalong ngap jar te gadon ka we ka advocate mo ka samla kala pen kre ban liat ta ka to ka signature campaign nasarai pila I kata hanrai tang hadin ka tukon ni por imat ba ki ong ba kadon kata ka Supreme Court ruling mo ha ka jing idayem tamut sujaan akum to tadi nang to ba da ka boburam ya UMLA jang ka jiya mo I ba nongrum I wanra ha ka house hanrai ha ka house umdan ba patiaw ya kata ka court issue ka ba kata I ka jay benre hanrai ngipat kum kinang sang ngis ngaw yam rem ngis ngaw dap ram nakabanta kajeng perkat yang jengi nak petaki samla hanre anda kalami katopat daka boboram ya ki parlok karoma ba file case apa ka high court te kami no kato ko roster las kala frame ga government ya kata hanre anda kala lami par kato ko roster kala pau sikot ko bor kalami sini style ayo pulih hanre ikuman yapan ban mengi
balai kumbangan chu kini kitin pi kendiat ba
sekendiat mah ngan pekut te ya kata ngan sakran tadi te hanrai katkum ka jengjai Lynti menta kawan no ka political party ka badang stang ka badang kat no benai mo kawan ran aya kene isu chopai ba te da ka burung ba ka government kala perkat kala chim kia ya kan ka kam la mi usok bala konstitusi no ya ka we ka expert committee ban pai benia ya kan te ha ka jeng yedai bat kan ya ka expert committee ha ka to ka por ngi ya keren ha ka pski ka ba nangkong ba kawan ka BBP sejuai mo nga keren ya ka taro ngong namar ki wan na ka banta ka reservation policy ban riluk ba ka juga por ban enroll ban campaign for the party mo tem kata ka de ka kamram hi jong ka political party henrai ngapat kumuru ba abom dan ha ka do ka party nga keren hang tu ngong ba ha ka to ka por ya ka kam thung jam de ban sange swa kat bam putat penbat ya kata mde bang aku abakin correct no ya reservation policy hang tang tai henrai kade ka kamat ka bakta dai ka to ko roster kabala ima
so ngala ban chu kdo hang ni ru nam tai ba bas kem ngamla ban wanra kadit specifically taban re da jingi kran jonga bar ki katu ka ni ki bala shong thai ki ban ki menteri bala shong thai ha ki snem ka knais pa propo ki ong ba kala don teng kata ka political will na ki katu ka ni ban pej ya ka ni ka reservation policy ko makalong ti hatu pi tharai kamshim lakhe em kini kisnem galadap kat hadu menta so is it because there is a lack of information given to the public when it comes to reservation policy which makes it new to many of us especially to the public
ya kran ni ga job reservation policy berkajing dawa ban review dan ban pentamai pat ya ka kamdai ga pentamai kali ga arim ha bon period 1980s nang ta bere house name ki stem kandai spa kendai popra hadu ko por bolong sarkar ka UDP ru kilaya kren ya gani te kilaya consult ya ki kini ki student union satu ko por na ka KSU GSU JSU berkiwi kila don te ki ki political party ru kila raise ya gani ki issue kum ka khnam nang ta piga wi kalong ba ka Aku makin human rights kalau sim hai kan ke agenda. Tambah kamdei baka sim tangi kan ke isu ki klop lang berkuwi isu na takdau ke isu kalau confused a little bit. De kenapa? Kini kamdei ke batmai bat ngam tharai ru bandon kibri ke bandom suthu ya ka jing dot kam ban review. Na du man hi kibri ke suthu bandon kam ban review ya ka. But kadon hiru ka justification kamdei bandong bashu demand claim don ka jing ka nong rim. De pen hendai ke ba pin thut la ne ke ba pin ko pa de la ne ke ba prevent la ne ke ba ngina ban ong ka bomon ra shisha ya ta ka ban pin ka lai ke ni ka reservation policy ka dei na ka daw chong ka bom don ka nu ka sarkar ka ban nut ban jam Shakhmat ya ka ban wan ra shisha ya ka jingla tiga tiga tahi namar ba ya ka tangim la ban len ba hang ni ka jela ka jungi ki breu tang shuk hamlong sensitive khendiat kim pa shu ban ni keren avoid bai da kisu tho baklaru kin avoid bai phinla ba balai ke jala ka jungi kam dei tang ka reservation policy phin pe na du ka education phin pe na du ki wei ru tang la long sensitive khendiat mtre shu ban pin bai bat kan ni ka wanra ya ka jing ha ka jala ka jungi bat ka wei hi phinla ba ka de ka jing tlot hi jong ka executive but kan ni ka executive ru phinla ba kim ju wanra hiru ha ka legislature kadai ka duty kadai ka kamram jo executive ban wanra ha ka legislature ban sina an hendai pun lap ko maga jala ka jongi ka jing sina an jo ka baduna ba namar ba kim ju wanra cha ka legislature but tang la don le ki jing bolong sensitivity hindian ki e but kena ta ra pun lap bam dei ta ka reservation policy bar ki wei ki bentaru ka jala ka jongi kadai ka jala ka bom junut ban sim kya ki rai ki badai ban wanra na ka benta ka jing pha chong ka jala te ka wei hi ka banga ong ki phi ka wei ka long ba ka don be ka ne ka jing eng salia na ki liang jong ki political party ban ya kren ni ki issue na mar hang ne ngi so tho ba ki don ki ar jai ben riu ka lada ngi ki demand ka wei ka jai ben riu kan persya ka wei ka jai ben riu hen rei nganong hang ni ka long ba ka dei ka jing shisha ka kamram jong ki political party ban pin su thu ya ki pai ba ya ka no ki issue la ne ka no ka mat wat la ka long sensitive ru ba ken pin su thu ya ka ka baron kam ban rai ka baron kam ban le dei ban le te hendai ka ka dei ka ba ngal wan ka bang kwa ban ong ko long ba ka dei ka failure jong ki seng san per thai ban wan ra si sha ta ka matured leadership ha ga jala ka ju
ti pitharai ba kani ka rai ba ka shim mata kani ka sarkar MDA 2.0 ka mangi tip mata hatu kani ka rai ka shim hatu ka dei nakadaw ka jing sha pressure kenya pai ba lani ne yo ka don ne ka political will shalendat
ti ka wei ka long kum ne ya kata ka mo ngi phi na du men ne barok hoi bu suk thu su da ba kani ka reservation policy ka bangi don menta ka ko but barok hoi hi ngam ngai bandon ubri ubanong bangim dan kamben review tang ba naka daw jong ka political consideration kiele ban pin ya kata kim kwa ban sim ya karai te haba but dei but phi ka wei ka long kum ni kan ka jela ka jong im dei ho tang kan ka reservation policy ngala apet ki ba bon ki issue hang ni la da ka long logical ka demand jong phi ka no ru ka sarkar la da kam don ka public pressure kam ju sim ya karai ka bari ban sim dei bitang ka political pressure kata ka biong ba ka street politics kadai kata kadai ka jinge jong ka jala ka jongi pej kumentang anong epi baro khoi ki breu ki la ya tho ki nong tho ki ba sempang ha ka jala ka jongi kadai ka jala ka bala ker khu jingi sha ba ki bun ki nong tho ki ba pen mi ki article ki jong ki riu perkhat ha ka imlang ka salang ka jongi la pi ong ka jing tho ka khasi lan pi ong jing tho ka phareng ru ki ya tho hendai ya ki ni ki thought leaders ki ba ki breu perkhat ha ka jala ka jongi ka sarkar kam ju burom ya ki opinion ke jongki te na ta ka daw phin lap ban ka ni ka jinglong jong ka sarkar ka long ba kam ju burom ka public opinion te na ka ta ka daw ka long ba ka don kam ya ka pressure but ka ni ka phi phin lap ka ni ka MDA dang ning kong tang banya kren assembly kam sha ngikot ya ka ngikuat special session juga assembly nomor katu ka di right forum ban keren ya tur ki klem court nang ta bede ki ong bai bangim tre ban ya keren ya ka reservation policy is out of question hendai andal adon ke public pressure hang tu ki sapediang pada ban ya keren ya ka reservation policy ngan kan mau pi berkat tang reform ya ke embos mensua kada hap ban ya ki ki political parties ang turu ki mi Shakhmat ban pensyai ki paiba hoi ka don opposition nang ni nang tai rei ka dei ka duty chong ki political leaders ru kolong ban ken ai ta ka mature leadership ka namar ki political party ka dei ka ba ki don kam kolong bakin ai dei political education kam dei bantang ban sure le sna sarkar ban ya enjoy ya ka pawan dei ki dei ru ka duty chong ki ban ai ka political education ka political leadership ka sense of direction ya ka jalan
to ka bingin na ikran pang ka opinion ki don ki perlok jungi katu ka ni napo Garo Hills kibla ay yala ka jong ka opinion ka jong ki we have a few friends from Garo Hills who have voiced out their opinion regarding the reservation policy but ngila kan thobi ki hakini ki jingkali an puli ni ki jingkali but ya ka jubab ka jong ki ngini i hang ni ka jingkali ka baningkong. Do you think reservation policy is balanced? If yes, why? And if no, why?
To this question, I would like to first refer to the provision given in our Indian Constitution that allows the state to make reservation policies for socially and educationally backward classes. Now I want to repeat this, socially and educationally backward classes. Now when our leaders in the past, in 1972, when they have implemented this policy, we are sure that they had already studied thoroughly, and only after such understanding they all have unanimously decided on the numbers that we have, which we know is 40% for the Khasis, 40% Khasis and Jaintias, and 40% for the Garos. So according to them, and for facts, we know that we, the Garos, the Turks, are much backward socially and educationally. And now 50 years we can still see that we have not improved much more than we should have. We still realize that we are very much behind socially as well as educationally, as we can see that the recent result of SLC, which tells us very well where we stand today. Only, I think it is 31.94%, which is very alarming. And so therefore, I would say to your question that the present numbering of the reservation policy in Meghalaya is balanced. We still need a lot of helping hand. So if we can get that, then definitely in maybe another, let's say 50 years, we will be able to catch up and be at par with the others.
The reservation policy is a system for the historically disadvantaged people of the society, more specifically educationally backward, economically backward, socially backward communities of the society. So the reservation policy seeks the balance of representation amongst the people. So nobody is left behind. So the state reservation policy is balanced. The 1972 state reservation policy is balanced, And this is what the GSU wishes to state, that the sanctity of the 1972 state reservation policy must be kept in status quo. It must not be changed. It must not be reviewed.
Well, the question is a bit ambiguous, but I believe we are talking about the Meghalaya job reservation policy, because that is the hottest topic right now in the state of Meghalaya. Well, if we are talking about whether the Meghalaya job reservation is balanced, then again another question arises whether we are talking about the implementation of the job reservation policy or the thought and the purpose behind the Meghalaya job reservation policy. Now, a debate has been going on, thought has been circulating regarding the job reservation policy. The question says whether it is balanced or not. Well, there are many people looking at the Meghalaya job reservation policy from different angles. Some are looking at it from the population point of view. Now, if we are looking at the Meghalaya job reservation policy from the population point of view, I think I must be fair enough, honorable enough, and decent enough to say that it is not balanced. Because we have on one side two communities, the Khasis and the JNTs. And the population wise, they are far greater than my community, the Garos. So if anybody is looking at the Meghalaya job reservation policy from the population point of view, I will definitely say that it is not balanced. But if one understands the purpose, the intent and the spirit of the job reservation policy or any reservation policy as enshrined in the Constitution of India, the purpose and the intent is to bring forward the marginalized section of the society, to give them a fair chance to come forward in life, to prosper in life academically and economically, and get an equal opportunity as far as recruitment in government jobs is concerned. So if we look at it, I will say that my community, the Garos, have been always at disadvantage. We are having many discriminations, disadvantages. So if we look at it, I believe the leaders of the state of Meghalaya, when it was born, decided to give an equal opportunity to the Garos who are marginalized, who are far, far behind as far as education is concerned, economically also. So if we look at the Meghalaya job reservation policy from the purpose point of view, the spirit point of view, as enshrined in the Constitution of India, I feel that it is absolutely balanced. If we are saying that the Garos deserves 40% and the Khasi Jaintias, who are far, far advanced, also needs to get 40%. Yes, it is balanced if we look at it from that point of view.
Yes, the job reservation policy of the government of Meghalaya is well balanced. There are three main tribes in the state of Meghalaya: the Garos, the Khasis, and the Jaintias. The job reservation policy of the government of Meghalaya was formulated by the pioneer visionary leaders of government of Meghalaya, basing on the socio-economic status of the three main tribes as well as the other tribes who are inhabited in Meghalaya. Yes, the job reservation policy. There are three main tribes in the state of Meghalaya.
Kani ka players ngo ya kani ka jingkran jong kini ki parlok jingin na po Garo. But skawi ka jingkali bar, the second question that we have for our friends from Garo Hills is, do you feel it should be reviewed? Do you feel reservation policy should be reviewed?
See, in my opinion, the job reservation is in both
Well, let's understand first what review means. The definition of review that I understand is a formal assessment of instituting change if necessary. So, as we can see in our lives, whatever we do, whatever actions we take, we always need to review. Personally also, I will have to review to go ahead. So review means we will be assessing by collecting information, database, facts, and so it can give us the result. But it doesn't mean that we will make decisions. It is just collection of various data to find out where we stand, what should we do, whether there will be changes required. So if I think when we come to reviewing the policy, the reservation policy in Meghalaya, they will be collecting lots of suggestions as well from all quarters, and therefore we can come to a consensus, the truth, and when the truth comes out, we can, all of us Meghalayans can gracefully accept it. So in my point of view, I think there is no harm in review of a policy.
Right now, because we girls, we are educationally backward right now. Because since we are educationally backward, we cannot compete with our other brethren of the society, maybe the Khasis and the Jaintias. So reservation policy, 1970 reservation policy must not be reviewed. This is the stand of the GSU. It must be kept in status quo, because until and unless Garo Hills has better education, education institutions and better education system, I do not think it will be for the benefit of the Garos. So the reservation, state reservation policy 1972 must not be reviewed.
Absolutely.
Anything?
Many people believe that it should be left alone. Many leaders feel that those who are looking at the Meghalaya Job Reservation policy from the population point of view believe that they have been deprived. Well, I believe today the cat is out of the bag, and it is there for all of us to see. See, the one who initiated this movement for the review of job reservation policy, who have brought it as a political or as an election manifesto, the BBP. Of course, UDP also stood for it. There was talk among the Garos and the Khasis on this. We never objected, because never in any point of time has it been discussed, or they have made their intent clear when they are talking about the review of the job reservation policy. Because we don't know what Mr. Aden Basaimat intention is. He said that it should be reviewed only. Well, I know Aden Basaimat. He is a man of integrity. He is an honorable man. I have a tremendous respect for him, my colleague at the time, and a good friend also. And from what I know about Aden Basaimat, I believe that he is an honorable man. So, nobody is clear about what Aden Basaimat or the BBP wants, whether they want more opportunity, more percentage for the Garo and community, Garo, Khasi and Jaintia community. You see, the Khasis and the Jaintias feel that they have been deprived of an opportunity, because the Garos have got 40%, and these two communities who are far greater from population point of view, they also got only 40%. But nobody took the time to look at the data. We guys, me as an NGO leader, the last 20 years, and during my tenure as an ML also, we have been always talking about this. that we have never enjoyed the 40% that is due to the Garos. And the cat is out of the bag, as I said earlier, that the Garos are at 33.96 today. And the Khasi JNTs, they have got 66.6% of services in the government departments. So if we go by the job reservation policy, the Khasi JNTs should have been 40%, the Garos should have been 40%, the OBC general 20%. But where do we stand today? So how come it is now 66.6% as far as Khasi and JNT is concerned? Why the Garos are only at 32.6%? Do we see anybody, whether the Khasis or the JNTs, can look me at the eye, or the Garos can look me at the eye and say that, see, this is not fair for our Khasi brothers and sisters? Can anybody tell me? Now let us look at the data. The data clearly says that 66% for the Khasis and JNTs and 33% for the Garos. So I think now the Garos also should come forward and talk face to face with the Khasis and says that, see, this is the situation. There has never been any injustice for our Khasis and JNT brothers and sisters. Someone has misled them. Someone has put this in their minds without looking at the facts and figures and simply saying that, no, we should get more. But if we look at the data today, it is we, the Garos, who have been suffering, deprived, marginalized, sidelined since Meghalaya came into being. During the movement for a separate state, there was a hill state movement. We have walked side by side, hands holding, always telling each other, I got your back. And it is with this, we have got ourselves a state of Meghalaya. And today, as Khasi, JNTs and Garos, we should remain united. Let us sit and talk. Let us not jump to conclusions. So, if someone is talking about the review of the job reservation policy, I, John Leslie, totally agree. But then, it is my thinking only, I feel that now it should be 50% for the Garos and maybe 30% for the Khasi and JNTs. If at all there is going to be any review of the job reservation policy, I totally support, on condition that we look at the marginalized section of the society. That is my stand.
In my because if the reservation policy is reviewed, the reservation which we are enjoying, both the Khasi, JNT and the Garo, it may reduce to the 50%.
No, sir. This job reservation policy of the government of Meghalaya should not be reviewed at this juncture. The job reservation policy of the government of Meghalaya was formulated with utmost care and consideration of the socio-economic lives of the people of Meghalaya without any discrimination of any tribe. Job reservation policy of the government of Meghalaya should be kept in status quo until the policy achieves its target, and it should be implemented in deterrent spirit on roster basis without violating its principle. Violation means discrimination, illegal, and suppression. Meghalaya attained its 51 years of its existence of statehood and still needed to be uplift this job reservation policy for the people of Meghalaya. So it should be reviewed and it should be kept in status quo.
When you say reservation policy, it either should be based on...
Thank you, our friends from Garo Hills, for voicing out their opinion in this regard. And yes, as we can see from the views and opinions from our friends from Garo Hills, looks evident that there are mixed opinions when it comes to the review of the reservation policy. But hakjo por ngi iba kaniru ka thobon bha shaka VPP ka day but kanika ki numbers with PP osngo but ka opinion joki ki jisngo jonki ka ba la on review ne em. So the question of review is one, and at the same time there is a section of the people, of students and the public at large, both from the Khasi and the Jaintia community, who are of the opinion that there should be more allotment to the Khasi and Jaintia community. What is the stand of the VPP, Babatskham?
Should I talk in English?
Yes, yes, please.
English. When you talk about reservation, we have to remember two things. When you talk about the shell tribes in India, the government of India has categorized two types of shell tribes. One, shell tribes, and within the shell tribes we have the particularly vulnerable tribal groups, and in fact they did this since 1970s. How these particular groups they are identified is based on low level of literacy, economic backwardness, declining or stagnant population, and the other one is pre-agricultural level of technology. These are the what is known as a particularly vulnerable tribal groups. However, when you see the government of India, they don't give the quantum of reservation based on these kind of I would say deprivation. These groups are identified so that the government can have the schemes to develop them, to take care of their of their interest. But when it comes to job reservation policy, they are identified as shell tribe only. And even the government of India has not divided their job reservation policy on the basis of economic backwardness of a particular tribe. Once you are a shell tribe, you are a shell tribe. Reservation is for that. And therefore here to say that since in Garo Hills they are more backward and therefore they should get more reservation, I think that is to my mind and to my reading so far, it has no logic and it has no basis. I will tell you, even within Khasi Jaintia Hills also, the level of development is not the same. So how will we divide a reservation? If you check the statistics of Jaintia Hills in terms of literacy rate, right from 1971 till now, Jaintia Hills secures or has the lowest literacy rate in the state of Meghalaya. Do you mean to say that the Khasis and Jaintias, because when you talk about Jaintia Hills, it is not only the the Panar who lives there, even the Khenriam also they live there. So should these people get more reservation just because they live in that area where there is visible where there are visible indicators of low level of development? If you talk about Ribhoi district also, and here I'll tell you the data. In 1971 census, Jaintia Hills district had the literacy rate of 19.60%, which is lower than the state average, that is 29.49%. And even in 2011 census, Jaintia Hills recorded only 61.64%, whereas the state average is 74.43. And I'm telling here, Meghalaya in terms of literacy rate performed better in 1971 compared to the all India average. Do you mean to say that we should not get the reservation since our literacy rate is above the national level? And therefore these kind of arguments I find no logic. And in fact, when you see, we are not drifting from, in fact we are not inventing anything new. We simply take to the letter and spirit of the job reservation policy of 1972, And in fact, even the job reservation policy of the government of India, when it comes to the scheduled tribes and the scheduled castes, the quantum reservation is proportionate to population. That is the basis. And therefore, the socio-economic backwardness and all these arguments, you'll find it very difficult to really substantiate, this kind of argument. And if you go by that, meaning that the Khasis or anybody, including the Garos, including the other tribes living in Khasi Hills, especially in Shillong, they should not get any reservation. And therefore, this is, I say, it is a flawed argument. And here I'm reading this. I'm reading this, this para 1 of the job reservation policy of 1971. In pursuance of clause 4 of Article 16 of the Constitution of India, and keeping in view the inadequacy of representation of these communities in the services under the autonomous state of Meghalaya in terms of their population.
Okay, we will come back to you, Baskan. I would like to put it here on the table for Meryl Bond here. I belong to Emily Jokanong constituency and naki UDP. Meryl Bond pi tharai mo ba kani kajing wanra menta ke sorkar baka wan manthawi kani committee menta banyo ban review ke policy. Do you think it is the right time bangin le kani menta? Do you think it is the right time to review the policy at this juncture?
Kubli Chibun, ba Ferdinand, bat ki ko panelist ki bedon lang hagni kapor. Pi ki policy ki don Chibun, kala bandai sports policy, drugs policy, industrial policy ki don Chibun ki policy. Mentang ya keren ya ke job reservation policy. Haktin pareng ki ong bolong sensitif. Ni tang syukren pi ang job reservation policy ke di ke pleng jare. Ke di ka kata ka sentimen jong bobun balang. Dia pi keli sepang gajing keli bakal adai ni em kapor. Pi kono ke polisi habachna dehi ban pen kela. Kam neksa gaju sirta. Kijing kela gidon Chibun. Uba ruspa menswa ula duk ula ruspa. Uba nangkiu ula nang hiar jing long priu jung ngilong kamta. Nang ta sagawe habang ye keren sapang ga reservation. Jadi besutu bahaya gajing mot mo. Ngam don ye ban ong sapang ki longdin ki jungi ki balasna ye kene ke polisi. Laga de ke badai ne ke bom de ne ngam don ye ban ong lor kata. Ngilaya san pu arsnem bangine phaidin wiang ban ong baklau ni te kamlong ngam sngo ba kamlong. Habang yung review this right time ban review le dia baro. Kata ketika po. Menswa ga based on population. Radangin page ha constitution ke jungiru ki jing batai ki don Chibun. Habang yung reservation kemut bangi reserve na kabanta jong ino community ki badang sadien. Ki bomla bania compete ke mentangin page ya ke tarajur kani gawe ke community ke don hangne gawe community ke don hangne. De air reservation ya kini ki badang sa sadien kan. Kenang banamar kimla bania compete ikini tagadau la air reservation no yaki. Ke schedule tribe kuota jongi ha ke sarkar India UPSC gede 0.1%. Bali la bahak kerpang namar bala sutu. Laga jong labu ki schedule caste kidan khat 1%, OBC udon arpen 0% pat kamta reser. Kini ki kuota gi jongi. Namar bangimla bania compete bat kita ki bala kham ya Shakhmat ki bala kham start bat kamta reser. Labu ikene ke kuota. Kaju ka apply ha ga jella ga jongi ro. Baro kini ki snem ngilaya. Kumong ipi meneng amdo ni ban ong ya ki nong seng ki nong sna ki jabing ki bala perkhat ikene ke polisi na kamta ke thungkam thungjam ho jella ga jongi. Margi di giju ki breu magidon ki ong ki bagane ka bakla ngar ngam ong baga bakla ni priang ba ke ga bala long. Magi di gini giju ki breu gaju ga yang dorbar tho an ka bala pas ya gawe ni ki an ga bangi kenma do mentang Meghalaya transfer of land act ka badang yang kum baniada kum kasti ya gari ga jai ben riu ga jongi hadu mentang kita kitu giju ki por ki bagami ka turu kaneru kade ka polisi ka blami ha tu ko por na kam ta thungkam thungjam tinamar kata ka baseline menta ka long ba de ban pen kala bat menta ha ong ba pen kala ka jingkeli ka long kumno an pen kala namar kane ka long kum ka kane reservation polisi hanga ka long ka singam pila tenderuk sengap pula mi umai ula dajlut dia berok menta berok we face the heat kalak bendon ga merit demerit ngimnang banong to ka search committee kalau don banwat ya ki panel jongka expert committee ngin i ha jing start jongka search committee banwat ya gitu dekat menta ka kamram jong ni kum ginong mikmat ki political party ki seng bahalang ki NGO civil society ki babun ki stakeholder kinong yalam shnong ki seng gantei ki sang samla ban ai la li jong give you haba sisin bang ilai kren ya kanika reservation kumong pi mane ha sedang galong ba ngihap ban reserve naga benta jong kitu ki bom less representation kata gede reservation babat scam mane ilai gi data gede gi bebe ki biang gitu la lagi jong gi jing sngau ngi dan mata ngang represent kum MLA nagri boy district kari boy district hi ladanginya keren hado less represent ngila ngiduna bagar representation la dapin phai ri boy district South Garo Hill District, South West Kasih Hill Village, East Jaintia, Gidi District, Gibarang, Sadin bahagi barang long, less representation, hagi department berpihak. Ngandu berdong pihak sekretariat dan ngilek mentangin wat, boy jengi pin lap dan lap banyo ginong tri. Bangim dan deh, ngimlap banyak compete. Tengamut ban ong ba, ngidon hak kasih Jaintia kategori baru mentah kalau ngapa bakla M, ngilayat beros gatu. Kani ka ngilayat Shakhmat bagi belalak banyak kuni exam ti kelayo ai kam ki jam bag mentah dah. Henry mentah bingidon ha kan ni ke klimat ngasngo ba kaban long balance hi ya barok mo tipin keli sibit pin keli tang baga por galayan ngasngo ba kei ka badon hanga kalong ba mentah kan ni ke reservation ke ngi ai kan ni jingmut kasong ha ke expert committee bahkan draft bahkan penwandur ban pensong nongrim la gede jing sadin economically backward ne socially backward ne less representation haki office sarkar berper hapan chonong rim lo ikini baro daga ba page ba ferinan ya ki section of society ki belong less representation di ban bu kerpang naga banta jungki kendang ba kan long balance ngam ong tang ya gari boy kalong ya gejela bro we kata tambah song he expert committee kemudian ban penwandur ban bu be based on population ne base hagi jing sadin ne bat kamta ter ke den kan sawara
ba scam haju ko por pios ngo then we one of our friends from Garo Hills he said that 66.6% kadai ka ki yo mentoy ki khasi jantia ki yo jing mentoy na kini ki job reservation te kabamut the khasi jantia are not deprived ya katuga ya ka job reservation kadkum ko jingong ko jong we ni ki bakan satu pi pediang ya kata
pai chene nganong pi habang ye kren ni ka job reservation ngam kren nam ta ki khasi ngam kren nam ta ka no ka jai benri i kren ya kas principle of fairness
ya jing don kam
ngi ngim la ban len ha jing isang u bang sai ong ba na du ben chwa jing isa ki ka ni ka job reservation policy ka bangi don menta kala don floor na do ben chwa Henry ke problem kalau ba ya kan ni don bala ban don bawan ra ban ong ban pen kala ban ayu. Tiga ni pi ke we kalau ba kan ni ke job reservation policy menchua ka dei maka ka basya haba ki community kepla ban thung de ki tu ki bala. Number ki hab don kamru ya kan ni ke efficiency jong administration. Kam dei nang du ka daw they keeping in mind the efficiency of the administration.
Kadon ni ka provision
tu. Ti hang tu ka tu kam dei kam long illegal kadong legal within the framework hi jong reservation policy. Kadang provision kam dei ba kalong outside the mdei ba kini menu yang piang ja jong no. Ka dei hi ba ka sarkar ka sya but ka don kam hiru ba kan sya ikipor. Ti ka ai mangan siupen ko pi. Ka we kalong ba ya kata ngimla banlen benda ka tu ka provision ki bon ki khasi khamtam ki higher post me shwa ki khamyo ki khasi ya kata ngimla banlen tang ba kata ka jing bom yo ka ya la ka jong na ka quantum reservation ya dot atli hang ni min shwa ki yo more than the quantum number ba ka don ka provision keeping in mind the efficiency of the administration ti benta ba ka long ba ngingi ong hi baki Garo ki dei banyo ya ka baki dei banyo ngim ong bakim dei banyo ki dei banyo ya ki dei banyo tang ki khasi beru ki dei banyo ya ki baki dei banyo ponong i pigadi ka we ka ni ka job reservation policy ki apply ya ka ya ki ni ki admission te hang tu be pen lap ba kim don ka ta ban ong bu khasi yo tam ya ki Garo
ngan wan si ba salam hoi kani ka ngila ban sungthu ya kani ka reservation policy mensua kawan ki ya benta ya artli ki jaj ban riu garu bad nyutrap ka bakentup lang ya khasi ba jentia ti hatu ya kata ka jing bha namda khasi ba jentia hatu phi sngo kumno kai gi so jong phi ya ita ibha iba saupho lalong no kumba kalong menta reservation policy kan kai gi so jong phi ta jing bha lalong no mar arpho ya khasi bu jentia
em nga kat kum ka jing snop tho janga mo mata la yat kisnep la agenda mata la nripo kondai kerta ngila yo ban pet la experience ya kan ka job reservation sapho i kum ba kabia mo kinong sna kinong wan ra ka la da ka dei baki sna ya ka in hori ha jing kerke tang ba udon hiu so na ka to ka reservation ka ba ki labu bha sapho la sapho hanre imat ha ka to ka por kadon ka we jing duna hang to kata ka ba ki khlam parkhat pha ya ka population ratio ki sibo ba kum to tang baka ki ong baka dai ka MOU mo ka memorandum of understanding tan rei menta kat kum baka long menta ngi iba kane kala long outdated kala dai ka por ban parkhat ya ka mdai mo ong ba ka BPP kala awan Shakhmat hanrei na ginong tho artikel kum ba jeri ba at scam ne tengok ba katoro ka de kum kinong prat nanti hanrei haba ki tho ya ka to jing tho mdai da ba kelong anti government kalong ka we ka op kol ya ka government ka de ban pet mdai ba chu tho kai ka to jing tho haba tho kano ka jing tho na ka banta ka jing ba ta ha ka jing ye dai ba kane ngong ba na do por man swaro khasi jantia ke labo sapho kamdan na po ka khasi jantia na po jantia na kan mau ngaro one time nga de student leader ngalong Shakhmat ban yakran ya kata hanre andang in the long run but berkat ba kabiang ka to 40% but let our people fight in that category kala along kibiru jong kasi jentia kala along experience ha kata ka competition ha ka sapho namar ba kayat kumta hanre kat kum mangapet pat menta kadon ka ka Supreme Court ruling ba menta mo kene na ka menta ki economically weaker section kata ladangin kita menta ka to automatically kan one bed namar ka search committee ka dai ha perkat menta kat kum bakal menta ba kini ki kat kum ka to ka bagi 5% mo to ka to ka laban kiu nyaw ka to ka khasan persen jan ka to ro ka laban kiu khan riu tan rai mata kin khlong na ka phrapau ta ka ba ma te kum ta ngong ba ya osno we ka jing kran jong ki perlo karo mo menta ke la mention bengil ayok ki kasi jate ke la ayok kata handai ka tum de ba ki su blackmail ya ka karo community ketua de ka yat kat kum ka trend jong ka ne ka reservation policy ta ha ka jing ye de bat ka ne ngangan namong ba ai ba no ye ki jantia dan ye pan ba ngem de ban pan kum bai ong iba amaral bon mata la de ban perkat ya kito ki balong saadin de ban receive ya ki pa saadin ya ki pa Shakhmat pat la de ban ai da competition ha ka jo ka kota mut la da ka phrapeu la da nginyat ka saupeu ko open competition for ya kito ki ba ha ka general category ha po megalia ta ya ka ta ka saupeu pat de ban pet ya kini ki weaker section ki badon sagaru but sakasi jantia kenapa kan balance ngada ka baburam ya ki perlo kero kani ka review or relook of the reservation policy kamde ban kita tang ya ka karo community hanre kani ngiwan ngi kajeng perkat ka jongi kum kero perkat ke mata dai bandon ka balance hapa deng ki lightly ki try kat kumbala kaya ka state hakilai ki community kasi jantia
dan
garo
sekoi jingkeli nam taki
Yang
garwils
sebenarnya ika bai juga.
ngin syam saya kan jubab jong kini ki parlok jina po garwils ngi sawan mi ashapi mo
Emang nomor kalong connected ika bai keren me ipi keli.
please
Kawai kalong ba community ki don ki ba ong ba kasi jantia. Pai ku bedai ki ong 3 tribes. Hendai ngam ngan ong pi bangi hang ni kasi jantia ka kini ki kawai. Ni kawai ke jaj benri. Ti kum nu pin phya la ka jok. Habang ni ke kawai ke jaj benri. Te kadi kalong ba pin one ra differences sang tu namar tang kan kuru ngide ka wi ka jai benri kiwi pi ka
ngang kum ne ba hapor ba khaya ka state kita mention specifically hang tu naga benta kasih jantian garo kasih jantian garo kadang kina bodoh kuma kasih jantian garo lightly teman tapat hakan ni ke bamenta kalau oske udah kejingkran jong ke leader kiba menta kiba dan rakaman bon sen haba kikren kisu sideline no ya ke jantia
Phimul benong makan kadi bandon be kawai lesi kum benong no light no na 10% lesi kum ka 10% be ben kelum lang haju ne kum no na kai
kawai ka nong kum ni phi hapreng ki khasi jaintia phila benong khasi jaintia ne khasi ne phila benong kum no ru phila benong hinyu trep ru phila benong kum no tam la kini ba phin I separate reservation number kan ba number ba wat ka khin kurung ni ga jo nang ta pada ya ki bejaj syubuk ki bejaj pariat hasilong penamong begitu khasi pin categorize kum no but ki phi ga wi ka long ba phin wan ra kan ga jing fer pin khasi jaintia hanga number ni wat ka khin kur khin jaj ka shokha shong man na dong dong hi ni behave hi long kum ko
ga kata ngan juba phi nakata-kata kay nga berkat ba nginbo hakaju kapas hakaju ke kota la dang ibo kan bang ibo tang ba kasih jantia kin don hakato namar bale sa janti hil ro ki don ki kasih ki basong basa sa salong lo ki don ki penar ki basa mo kata namar la dangin pharia ya ka mantan dei la long kumbal ai ban ye ki to ki jantia ki basa sane kumbal ai ban ye ki to ki kasih ki basa sa janti hil Tandai kawan katu ka jing frame ya kan reservation policy kikau perkat ko to por kila le ba namar ba kanam dar gono ke il feeling
ada di point ban submit phi di ta ka daw man ne ka opening remark nga ong phi ba klem da penjrong ji keren ngam ong ban solve ya kan ni ndeng I hak expert committee ndeng in I jing mut suggestion ka long ba why not to ka khat 100% ye ki general ngolong menta 100% ni order schedule tribe Badon order tribe ini prapau kanam kan long balance ngara mention di district ipi menero ngasu ong general district South Garuhil kilik se South Garuhil South West Garuhil ki representation yuki very less sagar menta hang nero hangi South West Kas Hill Ribhoy ka East Jaintia Hills ki bolong less representation fi de namar kata naga prapau that's my suggestion mo naga prapau subo 100% reserve lane 100% then the rest 40 is open to all
yes
they will discriminate ya no inang amdan ji keren komunal ne kani kendong general ya kitu bedang sadin fi federal harus to reservation means for what nam tagi di bomla bani compete bat ki balaya Shakhmat pi reservation ni ki balaya ilpas Shakhmat kan long chai for example mendagadon ngajing kenyum na ka state jungi in general nangi Meghalaya Mizoram Manipur Nagaland ki ST haga 7.5% majority ki dominate itu kota di Mina tribe jongga Rajasthan majority ki ni ki tribe pi tende ki haplang ga iu bat ngi te ngimla ada bani compete bat ngi jela jangi lu IAS umdan du arjar khat ari maru khadu umdan shu bani bani compete sati kam di ke besuk pi la dangi thaj ya kani sadu sati jongga sarkar pedengro kan don lang de kani ka ju ka apply hang ne ha ga jela ga jongi kum unong bikmat berpresent di jaka ki bolong less represent ngasngo bo amdei tanggiri boy sya jantian sya khasi hil ne sya garu hil ru baro de ben simya kitu ki badang sadien ki bolong less represent den ban ai reservation ni ki tang bangi I ha ke expert committee kumno ban frame ban pemandur ki percentage ki pros and con hang tu gi don sibun ki ba hab bande kene that is my submission
ba Melbourne kniat ba pikiran spaghetti unrepresented ne hatu pi tharai ka haban pejru ladakani ka committee kan hatu ka haban pejru ikini ki berang sadin lesi ki bakham long backward lani ki along no ki bakham duna ka yo ka kot hatu ya kata hatu ki pi tharai ka don kam
kini ki faktor ki parameters ki bagi expert committee kam lalan pikiran reservation de pi takadang ong pi haban kala manta ban review reservation aga tugam khana expert yu par ga based on population ada hab ban review tu hab iki men review ki mentang ye keren ke jela bro ko ite hafi ong review tahap ketaj lu dia bro iki ngomong pi bene bo pi la tera ek singap tu menta te ni hab ban ya lang bai jong
ngang sekawai mo mentapat ya kene ka economically weaker section mo
ngang swan miang speak dan ki perlu ngin garu sekawai ke last question ngila ada kita jingkeling sai beteng mo kani again we have last question for our friends from Garo Hills based on the reservation policy? And the third question is, should reservation policy be based on merit or on the percentage of population? Let me repeat, should reservation policy be based on merit or on the percentage of population?
When you say reservation policy, it either should be based on merit. I would rather say if it is based on merit, we wouldn't be needing the reservation policy. So if we are going through merit wise, then we will be coming under unreserved category. So we can already be competing in the general list. So we need the policy, the reservation policy itself is required for those socially and like how the Constitution has defined, educationally backward classes. And these classes, they don't have the source, they don't have the means to compete in the general quota. As we can say, because of maybe poor economic background, they cannot get the best educations which the other groups can get. So it is just not possible for them to compete with those who have got a better education exposure. So it is for them that we have been implementing this reservation policy. Now, to answer to another question, that is whether it should be based on population, I see that it's going to bring complications, and it is going to be very complex, because how can one decide on population? And from time to time we'll have to review, because population fluctuates. So after 2-3 years, the other category may exceed in population. So we'll have to constantly review the policy if we base on population. And rather, there can be no control of population. For if I want to avail reservation seats, then definitely our group will try to, maximize the population. So there'll be uncontrolled population explosions. So I should say it is a very dangerous thought to even think about bringing in population in order to decide the number of reserved quotas. So, and constitutionally also, I have not seen anywhere any provision that says that population should be the base of reservation policy.
Now, this is actually a tricky question. So, I will give an answer like this.
Okay.
If the option of merit is taken into account, then the merit system must be only for the Garos, with taking into account the 40% reservation for the Garos. So that merit system must be the competition among the Garos.
Okay.
And the reservation merit system, if the Khasis want the merit system, they have the 40% also, 40% reservation. So let them have the competition amongst themselves.
Yes, that's true.
So it must not be based on merit as far as the whole of Meghalaya is concerned. What we have got now is the reservation of 40%. It must be singularly preserved. So population, if you are talking about population, I do not believe that we must review the state job reservation policy based on population. That is not correct. It will be very disadvantageous to us, for the Garo people. So the GST will take a stand. It must, this state reservation policy must not be based on population, demographics.
see, that will go against the purpose for which it has been enshrined in the Constitution of India. The job reservation policy is not based on merit. The job reservation policy, etc., is never based on population. It is based on the place or the status where a particular community stands at. Have they been marginalized? Are they being marginalized? Have they been sidelined? They are not being able to come forward in life, so they need hand-holding from the government, an extra opportunity, a very special provisions for them. And this is why such kind of reservations have been created. So now if someone come forward and say that it should be based on merit, I feel that I have seen somewhere in the media where some people are starting to say that 80% should be clubbed together. That defeats the very purpose of the reservation policy, the intent and the idea. So it is wrong if anybody talks about job reservation as it should be based on merit or in the terms of population. I feel that yes, there will be a time, a stage at the next level where we have to start talking about merit basis. That is, now we have 40% for the Khasi and Jaintias, we have 40% for the Garos. Now, in the past few decades, we have been clubbing this 80% together and always having a combined interviews, examinations together. I have been for the last 20 years saying that the Garos have 40% reservation for them. Why exams, interviews are always conducted in Shillong? It should always be in Garo Hills. We should be selecting the best of the best from the Garos within that 40% for the Garos. That is why now when we talk about 40% reservations for the Khasis and the Jaintias, then merit basis will come. Because on what basis are you going to select the candidates from the Khasis and Jaintias or from the Garo community? We definitely will have to have interviews. We definitely will have to have written examinations, and through that process, we select the best of the best from the Garos within the 40%. And I believe that every exam, every interviews for the Garos should always be in either in Tura, or in Bakmara, or in Williamnagar, or in Ampati, or in Mendireshu, etc., where people from the particular district can flock in and appear their interviews, selections, tests, whatever, at their doorsteps. We have suffered long enough because in the past, if my Khasi brothers or sisters or Jainti brothers or sisters have to appear for the interview, they will just have to pay 2 rupees for the city bus, and or they'll just walk down and sit for the interview. Whereas we, the Garos, first, if they're from the rural area, they have to travel about 100 kilometers. They reach Tura, and from here, another 300 kilometers. They go to Shillong, spend thousands of rupees. Parents have to mortgage their land, sell their cows, borrow money, and somehow sell. And if they didn't do well, then the entire thing is, the money, everything is wasted. And we are not used to the cold climate of Shillong, and we have suffered. There are many factors why we have not been able to come forward, and one of the biggest cause for this is that we have never been given a fair chance to sit for the interview, because, like I said earlier, my Khasi brothers or sisters just have to walk down for an interview, where we have, in the last 10, 15, 20 years, during monsoon, even to reach or cover 10 kilometers was a nightmare for us. But we have come through that, and here we are today in 2023. And I think...
Thank you, our friends from Garo Hills, for their views and opinions that they've shared. And we have come almost towards the end of the discussion. So I would like to end with this question to all three of the panelists here. And that is, how do we take this forward? when it comes to review or not review the policy as some has suggested. Keeping in mind that, what if this becomes another election agenda like the ILP, for example? So how do we take this forward, Pak Mirulbon?
Ba, ia kani ke polisi day one review. Number one. Number two, orang review how to review. Meneng la ajumut kum tu, katu ngia keren meneng ke dia ke state level. MPSC level ni kiwe ki recruitment board ki bangide ke state level. Ba la kumno ke expert committee ke dia bensim jengmut na ki stakeholder baro ha ke bande ban perkhat kerpang ya kitu ki ba economically backward, socially backward banbu kerpang ka koto. General ya ke jela baro ko ye kata. Mde particular community but katu kat ne persen na ka prapo na ka bata bakan long open. To. Mentangin pahe ke district level ha ke DSC. Ki DSC level baro si kata kalong open kasi jantia garo. Provided balada kumha kasi jantia lani mentangin le hajowai lada ki perlok garo kim mdon ki intent ban theng tu mut ba ka debet prapo persen ya gitu ki locally ba ki kinong chong chnong. Preferably kalong bet ba preference ya ki local lani ki try senong tu. Menta ladangi ong ban ya keren ban review ban penkela ya gani ke polisi ngasngau ba wat hagi district level ru kan long confine ya gitu ki post ki bomde ki transfer post ki bedi tang apo ki district nak ya gatu kalong ba day ban I preference not only preference it should be only for the indigenous resident of that particular district.
Okay,
Kenang bakan nom don tan ke jing ya, yu ka don ke jing ya knyum nang song sunong pi. Ki wan lagi we district ki kam start ki kam yong syaboi jongi yong ta tengi tu mio ayo pi kan ni ka don. Ku minong ikmat ngi syam. Dengan so ba ha ke district level ru they ban don specifically dalam review kamut ba tang tu ginong song sunong jong ke tu ke district. La de riboi sat goril tang sat goril. Kenang bakan pli ya ki.
Wis bon ngilayat kapor kelayat ba skam ki jing so jong pi halor kani. Closing remark, what if this becomes another political agenda, I mean election agenda? Kidanru ki allegations persya ke VPP
bikiong. What if it becomes another election agenda pamut lada kata ka review kamdan. Lada mulai ke sebut lada mulai ti kan lada ngim selak man solve je kan ni. Ti filam pimut panong ba next election kan wan ka kan dei ki election agenda. Pika wi kalong kum ni mo. Ya kan ni kani kam de ki election agenda jongno kani ngi ken bet ba ngi nga kumong ipimene ngi pule ka policy ngi based check out on the basis of principle of fairness kani bandon mar ngi lap hi ba ka don ka floor ha kani ka reservation policy hoi kum akreni ba meral bon ngi keno ngi mayu tam ka don ka floor ha ba ka don ka floor ngi hap ong ba ka don ka floor ngim la ban cover up ya ka taru tang ba ban ong ba kan long election agenda menshua kam jude election agenda menshua ka de street politics agenda tapi kan de hi agenda in whatever form lada pimla ban review ya ka but ka we kan
ngi happen lingkot no khniat ngatep kapor ka kamsa tia ngaya ju si ba to ngai susu ka topik kalong vas ba ti hoi ba chalam
ngaro perkhat ba dan kono ke political party ka ban claim ya kan bakan long ke political agenda for the election. Namar kan ke dai ke judge benriu issue. Ke judge benriu ke dai ke issue jong ke judge benriu. Nak kata kada ong ba bonsen ong ba kim dai ban claim ya ka la sai ngi. Oh bale manga le to. Kan mau ba ke government kala simti kan ke kam. Kala constitute kala perkat kia kala constitute ya ka search committee te mentakan wat sekitu ki bro ki babiang kumbaya keren tang bo mentapat kadon ka jing artatin hanga mata kita economically backward citizen mo dan lat mo ya kitu kini ki jat benreu kasi jantia garo ki bala don lapa ha ka reservation list kidang yo lat so ne ban wan ha ka economically backward namar ka ba mata yo dei pen ban do khla bo wan song ni
ya kulisbon ba salam ngilhap ban berikut ga ngasu ka kani ka jingi keren kandang jurong bhala dangi
hab khot sisin
Ti kuli sibun pai ba nong page ba phi ai por man page ini ka talk show hakani ka klimat bat kuli sibun iba salam ba bat scam ka jo por iba mirul bon na ka por ka jong PPI bat ngangit scam ba ka bangiya ni Shakhmat kumba kalong sarkar menta kala constitute ka search committee ban wat ki experts ndabata kani ka ban yo ban examine biang ni ban page biang ya kani ka reservation policy kanlong ka job hadu kanu kanlong ka job kanu por ke simpor kata kani hujing start jong sarkar bat kini kani ke expert committee tindai ke bangi ki Lynti nang ni kalong lem lagi perlok garu jongi nantai ki bala airu ka opinion jongi khubli shibun. Thank you for our garu friends who have raised their voice and voiced out their opinions. Ni Lynti ba kani ka jingpen bet ini reservation policy kan poi Shakathong but nang ipet ya kani ka program Straight Talk Ferdinand Rani nang ni nopo Dudarshan Kendra Meghalaya.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you.